have been obsessed with Deltarune ever since I played it. I love this game, and I love thinking about it. And there is one question in terms of lore implication that I keep coming back to. Are we the soul? Now, there's no question in my mind that we are thematically the soul, in that we are the player, we are controlling Chris, and we are supposed to be taking this literally. We are supposed to consider the moral implications of our decisions, how they affect this kid and the world that surrounds them. But I am not yet convinced that we are narratively the soul, in that I think there's a really decent shot that the soul is a separate character from us entirely, with its own beliefs and thought process going into situations. And I come to this thought process in no small part because of the bias I have coming from Undertale. I believe that Undertale shares a certain level of magic system and significance with Deltarune, though to the degree that the narrative is shared is only yet to be revealed. Obviously, there's theories about whether or not the sands in Deltarune is the sands in Undertale, things like that. In Undertale, there is very little question that, like the player, Frisk is blatantly aware of the save reload mechanic. Frisk has determination. Frisk is as aware of the time loop as we are. We have very little characterization on Frisk throughout Undertale. At this point, having played Deltarune, it's becoming more and more odd how chill Frisk is with our decisions in comparison to Chris. I don't know if they're ever going to explore why. But the point is that from certain instances, it is blatantly clear that characters in-game, namely Frisk and Flowey, are aware of the save load mechanic. And this leads to them being able to take advantage of this to make decisions. For instance, with Toriel actively deciding not to mention the whole "you killed her on a previous run" thing. Things like that. I have some level of question as to whether either Chris or the soul is aware of the save load mechanic in Deltarune, if it can even be called a mechanic at this point, because I don't think it actually impacts anything other than shortening opening cutscenes for bosses, which I wouldn't really I don't think that counts for now unless it ends up mattering. For instance, the only things that really change that I can think of, someone please point out some instances if there are more, are the rare moments where you can solve a puzzle despite not having any possibility to have known the answer. The spinning light room in Chapter 1 where you can hit the switch at top and Ralsei's like, "Whoa, you're so amazing, Chris!" The similar instance with the piano in Chapter 4 where you can solve the puzzle early. Also, the codes to unlock the parental locks that leading to the cold place in Chapter 3. In these instances, you are able to take information from prior playthroughs and continue, and get a little bit of interesting dialogue because of it. But no one ever seems too perturbed. I do think Ralsei has a pretty good chance of being aware of the save load mechanic, and my headcanon for now, I'm not going to call this a theory because I don't really have strong evidence for it yet, is that both Chris and the soul are kind of assuming that whatever shady business is going on is each other. Like, each one is just as confused that they could have possibly known that how to solve these given puzzles. As the reason I don't think that either of them is blatantly aware of the save load mechanic, again, such as it is in Deltarune, much less the focus, is mainly because of the Noel House sequence in Chapter 4. In Chapter 4, the soul is separated from Chris and goes through the vents. They're ended up hunting each other down a little bit. There are a few instances that are a little bit weird on replay if either of them remembers past events from prior resets. It's a little bit weird for the soul to be forced to get caught in the little angel tree topper thing. Despite the fact that if the soul is you remember that thing can catch you, it would be reasonable to think there was some way to avoid that. It's not, it's a tree topper. And the fact that Chris every time seems just as surprised that you've escaped. And doesn't alter the plan to catch you at all. I don't think either of these characters are aware of prior timelines. I think it'll be very interesting exploring the implications of Chris finding out that the soul is also bending to our whims. As I think right now, Chris obviously is aware of our presence. They are aware that we are of our location. Not clear if Chris is aware what we are exactly, or if they just think of us as like a demon or something. But they are aware of our field of view. They kind of know where we are. Pretty sure Chris definitely thinks that the soul and us are the same thing. And I think they're probably wrong. I don't have a good solution as to where this is going. I just wanted to put my thoughts out there, see if there was anyone who had perhaps some lore details in the game that contradicts this, or their own opinions or perspectives. Because I do think that there is a little level of jumping to conclusions that happens that perhaps is going to catch us off guard with future reveals, and let's see if we can get ahead of the game there. See y'all at another point.